What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be taking down Stage 10 of the Goku's Edition Red Zone here with our Giant Ape Power team. So this is the deal that we've got set up here. We're optimizing our leader skill there with the 220% Carnival LR Super Saiyan 3 Goku's leader skill, giving everybody that Giant Ape Power buff. And then I figured for our friend lead, it would probably be a smart idea for us to just go ahead and use a second LR Super Saiyan 4s, since they are going to be pretty much by far the strongest unit on this team. We are jumping into a one-phase fight right here. It's just going to be one phase against this int blue Vegeta here. So yeah, the fact that not only are they just to have like the de facto strongest kit out of any unit on this team, they're also going to have type advantage for the entirety of the fight here. So I think it definitely served us well, rather than adding the extra percentage from the leader skill to have a friend Super Saiyan 3 Goku as well, right? We've got our GT support memory up there, so almost every single unit on the team, I guess everyone except for the Xeno Limit Breaker Vegeta, is going to have a buff from that support memory, so that'll be good. And because we are limited to the 6 attempts per day for, for this event, most likely what we're going to end up doing here is we probably will just drop items. I'm not going to risk it too hard early on if we don't have to. I think I would rather just use the items so that hopefully we can get all of the missions done for this stage today. Because we do have 3 different category missions that we are able to do, so on average we only get like 2 tries per category. Otherwise we're going to run out of attempts for the day, since we do have a full 6, right? Okay, well that's lucky. We were able to dodge a super right away. That's kind of neat. This guy is going to be slot 1 supering quite a bit. He has a 50% chance to launch his super, and there's no cooldown for it anyway. So yeah, it's probably going to be launching quite early on. It's going to give him a massive defense raise for the turn, so that's going to be really hurtful every time it happens at the beginning, because then just all of our subsequent attacks are going to do much less damage to him, right? And then it also does greatly lower our attack. So yeah, both of those things together, dodging that definitely helps us out quite a bit, right? He's got a 1.2 billion HP pool. His stats start pretty low. His attack stat is only at 370k here, and then his super attack damage is going to be 1.1 million, but that goes up 5% with each attack received, all the way up to 300% attack. So yeah, he's going to be, for the next quite a few turns here, he's going to be stacking damage a lot. And then I was looking away from the screen, so I don't know if we procced it at all yet, but he does have a damage threshold as well. I'm not exactly sure what that number is going to be looking like. I would assume something around like 10 million. So yeah, any of our lower damaging attacks are not going to be doing damage. We're going to have to be careful about that moving forward as well. Okay, so a little bit of an unfortunate case. We got both of the LR Super Saiyan 4s on the same rotation here. Ideally, it would have been nice to have 2 turns of safety in slot 1. Had we had them in opposite rotations, because this is the one turn where they both get the 77% damage reduction here, just from it being their first appearance in battle. Let's get these with him. And then, sure, yeah, we'll grab all these. Yeah, another ability that this enemy has is randomly changing all of the key spheres. He has a 100% chance to do that. So at the start of every single turn, he's going to be mixing up the key sphere board. So we don't really have to prioritize, like, saving orbs for the next turns and stuff like that. Okay, and we get hit with a slot 1 super again, which really just hurts because of him lowering our attack, right? And then obviously raising his defense is giving him quite a bit of cushion there to not take damage from us, which hopefully over time is not going to be the case anymore. I'm thinking what we're probably going to do with the Whis item that I brought is use it a little bit mid-game. A lot of the times it's pretty smart to use your Whis items like later in the fight. Like, you want to try to exhaust all the resources you have with the cards you have available, launch your active skills, do your transformations, all that kind of stuff. And then once you're like fizzling out toward the end, if you have units that have kits where part of their kit is rolled off at the end, or different things like that, and your team isn't quite as strong because you don't have as many team protecting resources at the end, then that's when you go out and use the items. But we have a few characters that do need to transform here. The problem is they're not going to be infinitely stacking their stats once they transform anymore. Mainly, I am just talking about the LR Super Saiyan 4s themselves. So ideally, I kind of want to try to maybe use the Whis a little bit earlier so that I don't have to transform them as soon, and then give them some infinite stacks for a couple of extra turns before transforming them into their final state, and then hopefully once they're transformed into that final state, after waiting for a little while, they'll be strong enough to be able to just absolutely destroy the end of this fight, right? That is kind of the hope. We're getting lots of additional super attacks in here, so all of these are going to be infinite raises to their stats, so that is pretty good. It definitely hurts us that we do have to rotate off the 1, though. Like I said, that was pretty bad RNG that they had spawned on the same rotation here, right? Especially because that means neither of them were around the Super Saiyan 3 Goku, who's going to be their strongest ally, especially defensively, right? So let's see. If he's getting 5% attack all the way up to 300, that's 60 attacks. That's actually, like, a lot of attacks. So he is going to be building up for quite a bit. Interesting. Because of that, it's going to be a little bit hard to know exactly where his attack stat is at and you know, calculate if we are going to be able to survive on some of these given turns. I'm really not sure. Okay, and again, because of his ability to super so easily in slot 1, I think I do want to keep him up there for now. Obviously, the most ideal character to have in that place would always be the Super Saiyan 4s, but we don't have them on rotation here, so we're going to have to settle for this. But I think we should be safe with this strategy for the turn. Okay, wow, and that's actually a lot of orbs for him. That works out well. And then I think we're just going to go ahead and grab all these to get the 24 key, because that won't do it, right? Yeah. Okay. Okay, so yeah, we haven't really done that much damage so far. Okay, we are actually going to get hit with this. Let's see how bad this hurts. Oof. Okay, yeah, that was pretty hefty. We did live it, but not, you know, exceedingly so. I would assume that the LR Super Saiyan 4s are going to have a little bit better of a time tanking in slot 1, but the problem really is that this guy's attack is raising by so much over time. I'm going to have to see what their defense looks like, because they are not going to have damage reduction or anything until we transform them, right? So yeah, we're going to have to take a quick pause and see what that looks like on the next turn. Because the other thing is, on this very next turn, we're not going to be able to risk taking damage like we just did, because our HP is... Oh, no. He couldn't even tank the normal there. That's not good. Okay. Do we try this again with the same team? I'm a little bit worried about the Super Saiyan 4 Goku. I just don't feel like we have a ton of really good options here. Let's go back into Giant 8 Power and see if there's anybody else we might want to replace him with. So, like, maybe this guy? Potentially? He's gonna be giving support to everybody, which is nice. He does have some damage reduction built in. And then he is another unit that can counter supers, at least. And he's got type advantage. Maybe this would be a better unit to use here instead. Let me see. Let me glance through his base kit and see what stuff he had working with. I mean, he had 20% damage reduction. It's not going to be quite as high as the 30% we're going to get. Oh, and then, yeah, because we don't have him as the first attacker in the turn, he doesn't work well for this. Yeah, this... Okay. I think that is going to be a better unit for us to use overall. Let's go ahead and try this then. One less unit that's going to be on the support memory there, but that shouldn't be too big of a deal. And then let's grab a friend Super Saiyan 4s. Okay. Okay, there we go. So as long as we don't have a slot 7... Nice. Okay, yeah. So now we have our Super Saiyan 4s split onto opposite rotations. This is kind of perfect. We're going to be able to optimize stacks for them right out the gate. Okay, let's just quickly glance at their start of turn defense numbers. Okay, only at 350k there. Shouldn't be too bad, though. That is going to raise quite ridiculously in a pretty short period of time, I would imagine, so... Okay, there we go. Maximize orb selection for everybody this turn. That works out really well. And again, dodging that super is really, really helpful because it just means they're going to be able to do a little bit of extra damage this turn. Unfortunately, it doesn't stop him from raising his defense. That's the only thing. So yeah, that really does kind of hurt us every time he does those slot ones. We may end up having to get a little bit lucky with some, you know, with some, like him not launching the slot one super. So that at least our first attacker in the turn can do a little bit of extra damage before he raises his defense, because that is quite a massive effect. That 100% extra defense is really putting in work. As you can see, we're barely doing any damage. And that, honestly, for a couple of units, might make it so that that damage threshold is a little bit harder to get it work around, you know? Okay, lots of good attack stats right out the gate, though. So far, I think we're out-damaging our last run there. But obviously, the amount of damage we were doing isn't the main thing to be concerned with. Just because we were taking quite a bit of damage with a couple of the units on the team, right? We're going to have to see how the physical Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta is able to tank in here. As long as he can double-digit tank normals, I think we're going to be alright. Because he does have the high chance to nullify the supers being launched. And then ideally, you know, we're never going to put him in slot 1 anyway to need to worry about those supers. We'd have to get pretty lucky for the super, or pretty unlucky for the super to launch in like slot 3, where he's probably going to be most of the time. So, we will see, we will see. But yeah, ultimately, I think next turn, we're going to be fine as well. Yeah, wow, we are really heavily out-damaging our last try here. We're almost at the same level of HP as we were, and this is only turn 1. Yeah, so far so good. Okay, let's see here. So yeah, we're probably just going to keep them together. That makes sense to me. Okay, so turn 2, this is going to be fine because we know we have the protection in slot 1. We don't have to worry about that. But then turn 3, I think, is going to be the scariest, because it's going to be too early for us to be able to transform with the LR Super Saiyan 4s. But they're, again, not going to have their damage reduction and stuff. So if any of that damage that they built up turn 1, or any of the defense they built up turn 1 isn't enough to keep them safe in slot 1, then we might end up taking a KO on this next stage too. Which would really not be ideal. So yeah, we'll see. Okay, and again, they did get hit with that super, so that lowers the amount of damage they're able to do here. Just by a bit. Yeah, wow, what a nasty stage. I'm not really sure what the answer is here. But obviously, there isn't like too much wiggle room. We don't have a ton of extra options, just because it is Giant 8 power, which is a pretty weak category overall, other than like the core 4 or 5 units. Adding those last couple in on the team is really, really tough, especially on a stage like this that hits so hard right out the gates, right? Yeah, I'm a little bit worried about like the Limit Breaker Vegeta's passive kind of rolling off, because he loses some of his damage reduction and things like that after 6 turns. So yeah, that could end up hurting him a lot. I guess we did get lucky. I'm going to double check his kit really quick when we get onto this next turn, but I think we did get lucky that he was slot 7. I think that does work out really well for us. Just as far as like his entrance animation being able to last longer, right? That is probably the most ideal situation. Okay, awesome. So we know he can tank normals. That's really, really good. Though, again, his attack is going to keep going up. It definitely is not maxed out yet. So far, he can tank normals. Okay, let's see here. So his entrance animation for 6 turns from entry. Yeah, so that's going to last all the way up until turn 9, getting that extra 30% damage reduction. That's really, really good. Super helpful, because he'll have the full 60. yeah, he's going to have the full 60 all the way up into that point. So that's really helpful. We are just going to rotate him off. And then, okay, they're at 1.2 million. So here's the thing. His super attack damage is definitely above 1.2 million because it started at 1.1 million. And he's gotten 5% attack with every attack received. We have attacked him like 12 times or something like that. Probably a little bit more than that in the full 2 turns of attacks. So yeah, he's gotten an extra like 60%. Eesh, that's actually really scary. I don't know if we're going to be able to trust them in slot 1. Because if they don't have any type of... I mean, they do have guard, but they already have type advantage guard. So that's not going to help that much, would it? Maybe because of guard, it'll be fine, actually. Now that I think about it. Oh, wow. I wonder if keeping him on rotation could be a decent idea, just because of having Giant Ape, or having Saiyan Roar active. That may actually be a good idea to keep Saiyan Roar up, rather than having him side by side with them. But the thing that he's going to be providing is the Rainbow Orb changing every turn. I think that that's probably better. Yeah, this is going to be a little bit of a gamble turn here. We might end up taking another KO. That would be unfortunate, but it really, like I mentioned at the start of the battle, turn 3 was going to be the hardest. And then getting past turn 3, things are going to be a little bit easier, because if we do have a dicey situation like this, we can first rely on transforming the LR Super Saiyan 4s and then go from there. Yeah. Okay. Alright, let's see if we survive this. The inevitable slot 1 super. Okay, yeah. Guard did keep us safe there. That's good, that's good. And then I would assume from this point forward, we're probably going to start outclassing the attack power he's building onto that super attack effect versus the amount of defense they're able to stack. So, like, when we come back turn 5, basically, I'm pretty sure their defense is going to be high enough that we don't have to worry about taking damage from his super. I think. Maybe that won't be until, like, turn 7. We'll see. But we are still going to have to deal with the same kind of setup on the next turn. So we had 1.3 million defense here. We'll just keep that in mind looking at the LR Super Saiyan 4s on the next rotation, because obviously this guy is about to gain another, like, you know, 50% attack or something like that, depending how many attacks we end up doing to him here. So obviously his super attack is going to hit even harder next turn. Yeah, and we are still raising his attack, which is not too surprising, as it is only turn 3. But yeah, if they have a decently comparable defense number, then maybe we'll know we will be okay there. But yeah, ultimately, I guess as long as that super is proccing in slot 1 every turn, then we should be safe, because I'm pretty sure every other unit on the team is at least strong enough to tank the normals that are going to be dished out here. So that really shouldn't be too bad. Okay, lots of critical hit damage, which is nice. We're still not doing, like, an insane amount of damage per attack, but it's working. Slowly but surely, we're getting through it. Okay, let's see where we're at here. So we do have a pretty massive buff from the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. That's helping out a little bit. Yeah, so 1.36. So he does have a stronger attack now. But we've got the 1.36 million defense with guard. I think we should be safe again. I have a hunch that we're going to be safe again. I'm pretty sure. So let's go ahead and not transform them. Yeah. Because even if we do end up taking some damage, there's no way we're going to get KO'd from it. Surely not. Just because of the guard that we have. Well, okay, I guess logically thinking about this. Here, let me switch to the wiki really quick, and I'll show you guys the exact, like, the enemy details, the combat details I'm looking at here. So this is the part that we're focused on right now. So I guess even once this is fully built up and he has 300% extra, this plus 300% is going to put him at 444. So 4 million, like 4.4 million. Once he's at that point, yeah, no, we actually wouldn't survive with guard. That is a little bit scary. Okay, I don't think it's smart to risk it. Let's go ahead and transform him. Yeah, let's go ahead and get that transformation out. I think it's time. And another thing about the transformation here is that we get the scouter up, so not only are we going to be able to be sure where that super attack is for every turn, he also likely will be able to counter it, which is going to, one, make it so that we don't have to suffer the attack lower from receiving that attack, and then two, just provide a bunch of extra damage from the counter itself, right? So, yeah, we might be in business here. How do we get the most amount of orbs for this guy? Shoot. The board's kind of bad. I'm looking for, like, the GT Vegeta at the end there. Yeah, he's only going to be able to get 4 orbs. Okay. Not terrible. As long as it's enough to tank the normal at the end, we should be fine. Alright, let's see that counter. Yes! There we go. Okay, so now, unfortunately, because he launched the attack, it still does proc the effect for himself, right? Like, he was able to raise his defense with that, I'm pretty sure. Or actually, looking at his HP bar up there with the little status effects, it didn't show a defense up symbol. So I think actually when we counter it, he also doesn't get the extra defense. That's pretty good if that's true. I wouldn't assume that that's how it works, because I guess that's not how it works if you dodge an attack, but maybe countering an attack. Oh yeah, because it does say nullify and counter, right? So it did nullify the attack. So then I guess he wouldn't get any of the effects from it, right? Okay, well, that is pretty good stuff. I guess maybe it will be kind of a no-brainer to just transform with the other Super Saiyan 4s as well. Just considering that, it's going to make him overall, like, easier to take down. And then because if we're able to counter that super and he doesn't proc his extra defense, then all the other units on rotation are going to be hitting him harder too. So it just means less and less turns before this fight is actually over. Yeah, I guess that is the best way to go. Let's double check our numbers here. See. I mean, we are upwards of 2 million with this guy. I don't think he's gonna need... Like, I'm pretty sure... Okay, let's see here, though. 2.1 without Saiyan Roar, because that's the difference with these two, right? Yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty sure we're safe on a turn like this. We're not actually gonna have to worry about taking any damage. I'm almost tempted to wait one more turn with him. Just because we know we're going to be safe, right? Yeah, it is tempting. Let's... No, okay. Based on the strat we were talking about last turn, I think it is the smartest to just transform. Let's just do it. It would be a really, really feels bad if we just ended up taking a KO for no reason, basically. With all the resources sitting right in front of us and just not taking advantage of using them, right? So yeah, I think that considered... Okay, and it is a slot 1 super as well, so that's another kind of big thing to mention. Okay. And then we'll use his active skill, No Time Like the Present, get some extra damage in here. Cool. 7 orbs will be decent for him. Not too bad. And then we can grab all those. Get a little bit of progress toward that Dokkan gauge with the same type orbs. No! Okay, I was going to say, the only reason this would suck if we transformed is if we didn't get the counter. And here we didn't. So at least we know we tanked it perfectly fine, which is great. But we did get our attack lowered, and he did raise his defense because we didn't successfully get off the counter. So essentially, there was really no point in us doing the transformation this turn. It would have been more ideal for us to just keep him untransformed, because then he would be getting the infinite stacks still, right? But he does still greatly raise his attack and defense for 4 turns once he's in this transform state, so he is still going to be looking stronger next turn. So I guess depending how much HP this guy has left, maybe it wouldn't have made too much of a difference, because we can still kind of earn some stacks. But I don't know, he's still got about 50% of his HP to go. Though that doesn't mean we're halfway done, because obviously a lot of these units needed to build up before they were, you know, getting to their strongest numbers. So, yeah, that's definitely something to consider. That, you know, though his HP is at 50%, it doesn't mean that we're only 50% done with the fight. We're definitely more than 50% done, right? Especially we're going to have some more active skills coming in. We have quite a few units here that can still launch actives, which are going to be helping us out quite a bit. All right, the triple super turn, very nice. Okay, and this is another, like, kind of moment of truth moment here, because he has still been raising his attack. He's actually still raising his attack even now. Okay, yeah, so he's finally starting to bleed through and damage our weaker units here. But again, if it's just going to be normal attack damage, that's probably not going to hurt us the worst. Okay, and here's all those active skills that we were talking about. Alright, so let's go ahead. We might as well launch them all. Yeah, there's really no sense in waiting for any of them, I guess. So let's do this first, I guess. Okay. A little bit of free damage. That's going to give him a lot of, you know, a lot of attack power for the turn with the guaranteed crits and stuff. And then we'll do this one with the LR Super Saiyan 4s. Get a little bit of extra damage in there. A lot of bit of extra damage, my goodness. And then, yeah, now I guess we might as well transform with him. Though, if we do that, the super attack is going to launch. I almost want to not transform with him. That way the super attack will launch and we can get the counter attack off in the beginning. I feel like it's worth that risk. Because we're not, even if we get hit with that attack, we're not going to, like, take a KO or anything. Yeah, I think that is probably the smartest way to play it. Let's do that. Just in the interest of doing the most amount of damage possible, let's do that. And then I think it's really likely that we could end up KOing on turn 7. If everything goes according to plan, the way we need it to on this turn, then I think we probably could KO next turn. There we go. So we do get the counter attack off, so we're going to get a bunch of damage in here from the counter. Nice. And then we'll have whatever other damage for the rest of the turn. And then we do have more active skills to launch on the next turn as well, including the LR Super Saiyan 4s, who are going to be hitting quite hefty, right? So yeah, between the other active skills that we're going to be launching, plus the LR Super Saiyan 4s and their potential counter on the next turn, and then plus all the super attack damage, I think it is maybe somewhat likely that we KO there. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. We're still not doing quite as much damage as I would have hoped for that. So maybe worst case scenario, we'll have to come back around to turn 8. But in that case, that's when we could probably launch the, you know, we could launch the active skill for the Super Saiyan 3 Goku. Just to make sure that we have a fully safe turn at that point, where we don't have to worry about the super attacks or anything. And then obviously some extra free damage while he's in the Giant Ape form. Okay, and then I think that Vegeta is still going to have one more appearance with his entrance animation active before that is going to start to be a problem as well. Because once that rolls off, he's not going to be tanking normals anymore. That's pretty much a guarantee. Okay, so launch that. A little bit more damage. I actually can't believe that his attack power is still going up. We really haven't hit him with 60 attacks yet. That's crazy. Okay, there we go. That's a lot of damage from his active skill. All right. Yeah, 5 rainbow orbs is not too shabby there. That's definitely good. Let's see. How do we want to do this? I guess we'll grab... Oh, actually, I want to put... Is it going to make a difference for the links? Probably. With Kamehameha, yeah. We'll put him here. Okay, so we'll get the 8 orbs with him. Then let's see how many we can muster. Ooh, nice. That actually worked out well. Okay, yeah, there's definitely a chance with that, with this counterattack actually proccing here, there's definitely a chance that we KO here. Definitely, definitely. We just have to have a pretty good turn, damage-wise. Which we did launch active skills on 2 of these characters, so it should be, a pretty heavy damaging turn, right? And we also did get quite a few orbs with both of the GT Super Saiyans, who do need that in order to get upwards of like 20 million attack stats and stuff. But yeah, if not, even if we don't end up KOing here, I think we're pretty much a shoo-in to win on the next turn, because we can use the Super Saiyan 3 Goku transformation, and then if that doesn't do it, then I believe having the LR Super Saiyan 4s in slot 1 will be enough. Just because he's going to be at such a low HP number already. Alright, I suppose this is one of those rare kind of random cases that the defense lower is actually helping us out, right? Kinda neat. Okay, let's see if GT Vegeta's got it or not. He is on his active skill turn. Maybe one more after this will do it. Let's see. I don't think that one's going to be enough. Oh, it is. Okay, cool. So there we go. We were able to get the dub with no items used. Granted, we did have the support memory in there helping out a little bit, but we didn't have to rely on a Whis, so that is awesome. And we are right on schedule with having only attempted twice, so we have 4 more attempts left to get the other missions done. So yeah, oh, and then obviously there's the mission for just clearing it once, so we got that as well. Perfect, and then we get some of our support memory medals, helping buff up our Bono Master and Disciple support memory here. Very good. All right, well, that is going to go ahead and finish it up for this one. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below, and I will catch you guys next time. Peace.